Chapter 18. Prithu Maharaj milks the earth planet. Text 22. Tatahayo Dandashika Sarvanagas Chatakshikam Vidhaya Vatsam Duduhur Bilabhadre Vishampayaha. Thereafter cobras and snakes without hoods, large snakes, scorpions, and many other poisonous animals took poison out of the planet Earth as their milk and kept this poison in snake holes. They made a calf out of takshika. So there was another incident where the snakes and poisonous animals got their poison. And that's described in the Bhagavatam. And when the churning of the ocean of milk was being performed, some poison called Hala came out, and it was a very large amount of poison, and it was something like uncontainable, like we have our nuclear meltdowns. Is that one in Chernobyl still melting down? Did they stop it? Anyone know? The reactor was burning down. They couldn't stop it. So this was something like that. This poison was spreading, and anywhere it went, it just poisoned everything. So Lord Shiva was requested to please help. So he drank the poison, kept it in his throat. Therefore he's known as blue-throated, because his throat turned blue. Nilakanta. Nila means blue, and Kala means throat. But as he was drinking the poison, a few drops fell out of his hand, and the snakes and scorpions and other insects and reptiles and animals that use poison, they drank that, and they passed it on. Here's a nice indication that he took it as milk. So, one man's food is another man's poison. For the snakes, poison is their milk. But for someone else, their poison has deadly effects. So this is another instance here where snakes are given their poison. Snakes are poisonous creatures. And then they pass it on to their offspring. say. Blood relatives. We have our bloodline. And isn't it that we inherit? They can tell what type of blood by the parents. Isn't it? They can. Of course, that's not a perfect system. But some indication is there because the parents give some of their blood. Their blood is transferred. And so it carries the line, and if someone's got some disease in their blood, the disease is passed to the offspring. So, as the bloodline carries from generation to generation, similarly the poison line carries from generation to generation of snakes and poisonous creatures. Okay, so can we read the translation?
Yes.
All right, so now we'll read the purport.
Purport. Within this material world, there are various types of living entities, and the different types of reptiles and scorpions mentioned in this verse are also provided with their sustenance by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, there are some living entities who really like to be in the body of a snake. They did some survey and they asked people what they would like to be if they could be something other than a human. And many of them said snakes. Surprisingly. And if I'm not mistaken, it was mostly women who said that. I'm not saying there's any connection, but that's what they said. So some people like that. To live that type of life. Uruga, they go on the ground. And they're always angry. Snake is krura, sarpa krura, kala krura. It's said that there are two types of envious creatures. One is a snake, another is an envious human. And of the two, an envious human is more cruel because the snake can be charmed by mantras and by music. You've seen the pictures of he plays the flute or some music and the snake just dances, sways back and forth, the cobra. And snake charmers, they can control the snake so it won't bite as long as they're playing their music or there are such things as snake charmers. Prabhupada told a story about some medical students who were modernized. This was during his time. They were modern so they didn't believe in snake charmers. They didn't think that such a thing was possible. So the teacher said, okay. So he brought the students, and there were many snakes, and there was a Muslim snake charmer. And he let out the snakes, and all the students were frightened. And then he said, don't worry, they won't bite you, they won't hurt you as long as I'm here. So he had some power over them, some charm. But envious humans, you can't do that. The example is Hiranyakashipu. He's compared to a scorpion. What's the word? We sing that word?
Dandashuka.
No. Yeah, that's used here. Hmm? We sing song. Travakara Kamalabari Nakam. Adbhuta Shingam. Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanapringam. That means he's like a wasp. Who's killer? Keshavajita Arahanirupa. The other verse. Oh, that's another verse. Yeah, what's... What is the meaning of that?
That his rasp-like body was torn apart by...
Shivatanganakala means that Lord Nrsimhadeva's nails
Nails.
are like chisels on the
Chisels,
chest.
yeah. Well, there's another verse that Prahlad Maharaj said to Lord Nrsimhadeva that, my Lord, don't be disturbed. No one is disturbed with you killing this Hiranyakashipu, O Data, because when a snake is killed, everyone, even sadhus, are pleased. In other words, this poisonous snake can be killed. Prabhupada told the story when he was visiting his Guru Maharaj at the ashram, and in the courtyard a big snake crawled out, and everyone was frightened. They were asking what to do. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was up on the balcony. He looked down and said, kill it. As though someone took a stick and killed it. And Prabhupada said, it caused a little doubt in his mind. Prabhupada said he was new at that time. He was a little doubtful. Guru Maharaj stood to kill the snake. I thought sadhus are supposed to be kind to all living beings. And then later he said, I read that verse in the Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj said, even a sadhu is pleased when the snake is killed. So the idea is, no one is upset that Hiranyakashipu was killed because he's an envious creature. And that kind of goes along with the idea of capital punishment. If someone's so envious that he's murdering innocent living beings, then to execute him is not a bad thing. His life is simply to cause trouble for others. So therefore, otherwise what we have the situation like now, where murderers are set free after a few years, or maybe less, and then they are still around. Oh, yes. It's not very nice for the innocent people. Innocent, gentle people are terrorized. And by being lenient with them, and other such persons are encouraged. If they know that there's going to be severe punishment, death penalty for this act, they'll think twice before they do it. You can, if you don't believe that, you can check the statistics, countries where they have a very strict punishment system. Crime is less. It's not theoretical. Because animals and people who are like animals they only respond to the stick. And good logic doesn't work with them. Scripture, you can tell them scripture, it doesn't have any effect. Or there are 4 ways to get someone or someone to do something. One is by logic and scripture, good instruction. So an intelligent person, he'll do it if it makes sense. If it's logical and philosophically correct, scripturally, he'll agree. And then another group, they don't respond to philosophy or good logic or scripture. But if you praise them, you can get them to do what you want. They're the Kshatriyas. So the first group is the Brahmanas. Next group is the Kshatriyas. They have to be flattered. If you flatter a Kshatriya, that's what appeals to him. The next group, they don't respond to philosophy or scripture or flattery, but bribery. If you bribe them, those are the Vaishyas. If you give them a bribe, they immediately respond. And then there's a 4th group. They don't respond to philosophy or scripture or flattery. You can flatter them. Please do this, you're such a nice person. No. Here's a bribe. No. I'll pay you. No. If you don't do it, I'll beat you with the stick. Okay. And he responds. Shudra. So Shudra and animals are in a similar category. He responds with argumentum ad baculum. But there's 8,400,000 species, and these species here are in the Chalajana Lakshami Stavaram Lakshanam Shati Krimayo Rudra Samkhaka. So the Krimayo Rudra Samkhaka, these are the reptiles and insects. 1,100,000 species. Different snake species and reptile species, insects. And some of them have poison. And it's interesting because you might think, what if a wasp doesn't know he's got poison? How does he know he has poison? Or a snake, how does he know? Because snakes are not such big animals necessarily. Sometimes they're big, but Still they bite. Because they know the bodies they get, they're equipped with an educational system, educational package. You may call it intuition, or you may call it, what's the other term they use?
Instinct.
Instinct. How would they instinctively know that they have poison? How to use their bodies? Or but actually it's coming from super soul. We were reading last night how the super soul is Upadrashta Anumanta. He is given knowledge. Sarvasya Chaham Vriddhisani Vishto Vataksmatir Gyanopo Anamcha. Krishna says, I am situated in everyone's heart as super soul, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Every living entity is getting that from super soul, Paramatma in the heart. So the snake, he knows I have poison. And if I bite, they'll die. He knows it. And the spider knows my saliva is sticky. And it can be made into a web. And when little flies get caught in the sticky web, they can't get out, and then I go and eat them, or I suck their blood out. He knows this. Even little spiders know it. They don't have to go to university, take studies in web building, web development, web design. They have already their web design course in the heart. Every living entity has mystic power. Birds know how to fly. The squirrels have an ingenious system that during the summertime they take nuts and they bury them in the ground. And then they remember where the nuts are in the winter, and that's how they eat, because there's no nuts in the winter. Brilliant. How do the birds like the peacocks and others, how do they know to make their nests up in the tree? Because if they don't, the foxes come and eat them. It's not that they tell each other. It's super soul. Super soul is giving this intelligence to every creature. But humans, they're also supposed to be getting something from super soul, but the humans, they don't want to hear. So they act against the instruction. The others follow perfectly. They eat exactly what they're supposed to eat. The lion doesn't eat lettuce and salads. He's not interested in salads. He wants fresh blood. That's his jiva jiva sajivanam. One living entity lives at the cost of another. That's his food. Everyone has their food. So a human's food is supposed to be, what does Krishna say? Patram pushpam palam toya. Yome bhaktya prayat. He gives the food for humans. Fruits, vegetables, grains, milk products. He's the food. In the Bible it says in the Old Testament, grains and fruits, vegetables, they shall be as food for you. They say that got changed later. That's a concoction. Why would it get changed? That was stated in the Old Testament. This is your food. Of course, humans can also live on flesh. You can live on a lot of things. They say stool is high in carbohydrates, a lot of nutrients. But that doesn't mean we should live on stool. Or we can live on eating humans. They also can support life. That doesn't mean we should eat meat. They say, well, our scripture says that man has dominion over the animals. It doesn't mean you eat them. Dominion means to protect. You rule over them or you look after them. You have dominion over your child, it doesn't mean you eat it. Someone says, why did you eat your child? I had dominion. Court awarded me dominion over the child, so I ate it. Man's right to choose. So these theories and philosophies, you can see why it's difficult for them to understand the absolute truth, because you can't understand spiritual things. There was that discussion, some of you may have seen, there's a video even of it, Prabhupada discussing with Cardinal Danavir in France. And Cardinal Danavir was arguing strongly that cows are meant for eating by humans. And Prabhupada said in one particular circumstance, you can't understand the absolute truth when you have blood on your beard and you're eating animals. How can you understand the absolute truth? Therefore, one of our principles is no meat, fish, or eggs eating. Otherwise, it dulls the brain. It dulls the heart, dulls the consciousness. When one is in the mode of ignorance, can't see things, he's in darkness. It's like one who's in the dark. Needs to be light. Tamasi Maha Jyotirgama, come out of the darkness into the light. When the Nagapatnis were praying to Lord Krishna, they were saying, they were trying to save the life of their husband, Kali. Kali was he's a big Naga, big, many hoods. About, what was it, 100 hoods are prominent in Kaliya. And he came there to escape from Garuda, because Garuda used to go to those planets in the lower planetary systems. What are they called? Who knows the 7 names of the lower planetary systems? Svarga describes those planets, but that's not one of the names of them.
Patala,
Patala,
Atala,
Atala,
Talatala,
Talatala,
Sutala,
Sutala,
Vitala,
Vitala,
Rasatala.
Rasatala, yeah. So in these, mostly there's, some of those are mostly snakes, some of them are all snakes. Just snakes or more or less. There's other things too, but predominantly snakes. And Garuda, when Garuda gets really hungry, he would go down to their planet, and eat snakes, big ones. And they were, you might say, well, why does Guru do that? He's a Vaishnava. That's a special prerogative for Guru. You can't eat snakes and fish. He eats fish also. You can't imitate Guru and eat snakes and fish. If you do, you become polluted. But he doesn't become polluted because that's his prerogative. Sometimes there's a double standard. People nowadays, they don't like double standards. At least they say they don't like double standards. But there has to be double standards. It's like, for example, if a child accidentally kills someone, he's not given any punishment. He's a child. He's not taken to court. The judge says, why did you do it to the child? I just shot the weapon. I was angry with him. If a child says, I shot the gun because I was angry with him, the judge doesn't say, okay, death penalty or life in prison. But if an adult says, why did you shoot him? Say, I got angry with him. I shot him. And then he has to. So there's some discrimination there. A child is not given the same punishment as a grown man. There's some different criteria. So Garuda, it's allowed for him. Or in the heavenly planets, they have a different system. They're there for enjoyment. So they can enjoy their senses on a much higher level than we can enjoy our senses. Those who go to the heavenly planets, it's practically all enjoyment, material enjoyment. Material enjoyment is not such a high level, but you can enjoy it. It's not against the law. It's not considered sinful there. So Garuda would go down to where Kaliya and the other big snakes lived. He would sometimes just eat them. So Kaliya found out that there was a place where Garuda couldn't go because Garuda had been cursed by a sage named Sobari. Sobari was a yogi who was meditating underwater at the bottom of the river Yamuna in Vrindavan. It's a good place to be. Yamuna. He was doing his meditation there. And he naturally had developed a friendship with the fish there. And one day, Garuda went there and ate one of the leader of the fish, big fish. And even though Sobari was supposed to be meditating, but he got into social, political things. I think Prabhupada says sometimes, impersonalists, they try to realize Brahman, but then after a while they get tired of Brahman. Aruya Krishna Param Param Ye Ravindra Yakshadi Muktimanina, Tayastabhavada Vishudaburi, Rikuchena Param Param Tata, Patantito Nadita Yushuranga. They fall down again, even though they're supposed to be liberated, because there's no activities there. The Brahmajyoti, just existence. So they still have to have some activities. They come down to social work. They open schools, hospitals. We see even Bharat Maharaj, he tried to renounce, took sannyas, or at least panaprastha. But he wasn't quite ready yet. So he ended up, his test was, when he saw that fawn lose its mother, then he became attracted to welfare, social work, Save the Animals Wildlife Association. So he got involved in that. The devotee shouldn't get involved in these things. Save the whales. Save the dogs. It's not our business. Our business is spreading Krishna consciousness, just like who's done more for the plight of cows in Prabhupada? No one. Because of his preaching Krishna consciousness, millions of people have stopped eating meat, stopped eating cows. And if we continue to spread Krishna consciousness in a pure way, then more and more slaughterhouses will be closed. It's like there was one devotee in Israel who was an attorney, and he was given responsibility for managing a certain part of Tel Aviv for a while. And so he found that there was a slaughterhouse in his jurisdiction, and he used his political means, his legal means, and he got it closed. So that's, by preaching Krishna consciousness, and people understand they shouldn't eat cows, as is knowledge. As Chitam Vimarshana, a good deliberation. So if we spread Krishna consciousness, that's the best service we can do for the cows. Otherwise, why would Prabhupada send the devotees out distributing books and chanting Hare Krishna? Giving this trend and distributing prasadam, because people will learn, they'll get a higher taste. They'll give it up. They'll learn this is bad karma. Okay, did we finish the purport?
The point is that everyone is taking his eatables from the planet Earth. According to one's association with the material qualities, one develops a certain type of character. Payapanam pujanganam. If one feeds a serpent milk, the snake will simply increase his venom. However, if one supplies milk to a talented sage or saint, the sage will develop finer brain tissues by which he can contemplate higher spiritual life. Thus, the Lord is supplying everyone food, but according to the living entity's association with the modes of material nature, the living entity develops his specific character.
That's according to the mode's spiritual nature. Person in the mode of ignorance, even if he eats grains, he still remains in the mode of ignorance. Of course, better to eat grains than to eat flesh. But we see that persons are also eating grains. They remain in the mode of ignorance. One gets a particular body according to nature, his previous activities, and now the body is governed. The snake is considered to be one of the most envious, cruel living entities because he'll bite, as described here. He'll even bite the person who gives him milk. A lion or a tiger you can train. The way they train them is they take a tiger and they starve him. And they keep him in a cage and he's almost dead. He's practically dead from starvation. And then they take him and the trainer comes and beats him, whips him, till he's almost really dead. And the poor creature, he's already weak from starvation. Now he's been beaten. And he thinks this person is my master. He can kill me. And then the master gives him food. And he thinks, oh, he's my master, he's giving me food. Then he goes through the same process again. Starves him, beats him, then feeds him. So finally, the animal realizes he's definitely my master. He can kill me, or he can give me life. So I won't harm him. So therefore, the lion or the tiger in the circus, they open their mouth, and the trainer puts his head inside. And the animal doesn't eat him because he knows he's my friend. He's giving me life. But a snake, you can't do that. There's a story about a snake and a camel. The snake said to the camel, I need to cross the river, but I can't swim across the river. So I'd like to ride on the back of your humps, because camel has those humps out of the water so he can. And the camel said, how can I do that? You're a snake. You'll bite me and I'll die. And the snake said, why would I bite you? That would make no sense at all if I bit you when we're in the river, then you'll drown and I'll drown too because I'll be on your back. So I wouldn't do that. So the camel was convinced, all right, so get on my back. So they were going across halfway through the river. And suddenly, bong, the snake bit him. He said, what are you? You just bit me. Now I'm going to die, and you're going to die. Why did you do that? He said, what can I do? I'm a snake. My nature. You can't change nature. But Krishna consciousness can change almost everyone, not everyone, because Hiranyakashipu, he couldn't take any good advice. He had to have Lord Nrsimhadeva's nails. That was the convincing. And some people, they get Mrityu Sarvaharas Chaham. Lord Nrsimhadeva is death personified. So if you don't surrender to Krishna while you have a chance, then you get to surrender to Krishna as death. Krishna says, I come as death and I take away everything. So, there's some advantage. Isn't it they say there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole? When the bombs are coming, the soldiers are in the foxholes and they're praying, God, please save me. Because they know they're helpless. Okay, any questions?
Regarding this last point, like in the war, they may be praying that please save us, but it's like according to their karma, whether they survive or not. I was thinking like in other religions, they pray to God for things. So is it so that Krishna reciprocates with them, or is it just that they are getting the results of their karma?
Yeah. Well, he likes to fulfill the desires, but according to what they deserve also. In other words, it's like a criminal. He commits some horrible crime, then he's put in prison. And then he goes and prays, God, please get me out of prison. But he performed the activity. This is what he deserves. This is so he gets what he deserves. Okay. It's like you might be forgiven once or twice or thrice, but if it's a regular thing, ongoing thing where you... That's not real prayer. Real prayer is, okay, he commits some simple activity. Now he begs for forgiveness and he really understands why he should not do it again. Prayaschitam vimarshanam. He's understood that I shouldn't do this because but if he's going to do it again, he's going to commit the sinful activity again and again petition. If someone comes before a judge, he commits a crime, a young person. And the judge says, why did you do it? He said, Judge, I'm sorry, I was young and impetuous, I didn't know. I got carried away. And the judge may say, all right, suspended sentence. You're on parole, you're on probation for 1 year. So then if a few weeks later, the same person's brought back in court for the same crime to the judge. Judge, you again? Only 2 weeks later? What happened? You know, please be merciful to me. Give me a break. Judge said, no. I gave you mercy last time. Now you did the same thing, but you didn't learn. You're not sincere. So you're not to be given mercy. You're to be given mercy in the form of punishment. So punishment is also mercy. Don't think the punishment's only bad. It's a good thing. When you get a disease, it's a good thing. Helps you realize this material world is not such a nice place after all. Makes you realize that You're not the enjoyer, you're not the controller. We're thinking, I'm the controller, I've got complete control of everything. And then when you get a disease, you see, well, I guess I'm not the controller, so that's a good thing. When a doctor, sometimes doctors use poison to save a life. A little bit of poison. This was discussed by Prabhupada in his last days. There's some poison used in Ayurveda. So one group, they took a whole thing and tried to say that Prabhupada was poisoned by his followers. But Prabhupada was referring that sometimes a little bit of poison for a heart patient, it stimulates the heart. When it's used by an expert, he knows how to use even poison as a cure. When Bhima was bitten by these poisonous snakes, what happened was he was administered poison by Duryodhana and company. Huge amount of poison, and he went unconscious when he was in the water. But then he was bitten by some snakes, and it acted as an antidote for that poison, and his life was saved. So we shouldn't think that punishment is always bad. Punishment has its good side. Otherwise, the whole system of punishment, the whole hellish planets would be a waste of time. We're taking all these different bodies, having to go down and become a tree, and it would be a waste. But no, it actually helps. For those who are so stubborn, so demoniac, they can't understand any other way, then they get the danda, get the stick. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, of punishments I'm the rod of chastisement. Any other questions?
How can I get more sincere in Krishna consciousness?
That's nice. That's a nice desire. Try to get the blessings of the Lord in the form of His holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Krishna personified in sound form. So you have Radha Krishna always on your tongue. And Balaram and Lord Ramachandra. You can pray to them. You can pray to the Vaishnavas. Pray to Tulsi. Please, let me become more sincere. So many, how many incarnations are there of the Lord? Unlimited. Pick your favorite Vaishnava Acharya. It's like it said, Sanat Kumar Bhuttakama Deva. It's recommended to pray to Sanat Kumar to free one from lust, lusty desires. So he's very merciful and different. All the Vaishnavas Panchakalpa, Kubhyascha, they're like desire trees. Desire tree gives you whatever you want. So find some very merciful Vaishnava and please him or her. And you can beg him, please give me the benediction that I become more sincere. And I'll give you that blessing. You just have to find some. And there's so many devotees like that in ISKCON. And in the predecessors to ISKCON, Bhaktisiddhanta, Gorky Shardas Prabhuji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Prabhuji, the whole line. You can pray to all of them. We have a poster. Do you have that poster somewhere? Where is that?
My home, I think.
He has a poster, so maybe he'll let you come over sometime. And then you can pray to all the Vaishnava acharyas in our life. Please give them mercy. Okay, any other questions?